Is President Biden coming for crypto? That's the question on our minds as we've seen a bunch of crypto companies get whacked lately. Some people say that this is not a coincidence, but rather a coordinated effort coming from the very top of the Biden administration. Now, as a crypto investor, that sounds pretty freaking scary, but is it time to dump our coins, or is there more to the story and it's not as bad as it seems? That's what we're going to find out today. Okay, so the theory is that FTX was the final straw for the Biden administration, and they finally gave their agencies the green light to attack. In the span of a few weeks, we saw like 10 different federal agencies slap all sorts of crypto companies with enforcement actions. One analyst, Nic Carter, took a look at everything and was like, wow, this reminds him of a former Obama-era program called Operation Chokepoint, which used the banking sector to squeeze certain high-risk industries. Nic said that the federal agency is once again trying to do the same thing, and that's why he dubbed this Operation Chokepoint 2.0. But let's not just take his word for it though. Let's look at all the events ourselves to see what to make of it. So it all started in early January when the Fed, FDIC, and OCC issued a joint statement discouraging banks from working with crypto for safety and soundness reasons. Then two banks that serve a lot of crypto clients, Signature and Metropolitan, announced that they were cutting down on crypto client deposits or even closing their crypto verticals entirely. That led to Binance announcing that they would have to find a new US banking partner because of Signature Bank's changes. And that was just the beginning. The Fed then denied Custodia Bank, one of Wyoming's first crypto-friendly banks, from joining the Federal Reserve System. Next, the DOJ announced an investigation into Silvergate Bank for its role in the FTX and Alameda fiasco. Shortly after, Kraken was sued by the SEC for its staking program, forcing them to shut it down forever. And then the SEC sued Paxos, claiming that his BUSD stablecoin was a security, which was quite insane to see. So all that happened in just a few weeks, and I didn't even include everything because there was a lot more. But you see why people think that there was a coordinated effort going on? It definitely feels like there was some coordination, or else it wouldn't have come in such a massive wave all at once. Also, it looks like they may not be done yet because there are rumors that the SEC is handing out notices to all sorts of crypto companies, kind of like Oprah hands out prizes. Anyways, whether Operation Chokepoint 2.0 is real or just a conspiracy theory, I don't know for sure. But let's assume that it is real for the sake of argument and discuss how that would impact crypto. Well, first of all, on and off ramps would become incredibly difficult to access. I mean, imagine if Coinbase couldn't get access to banking services. That would be game over for crypto in the US. Even if you were a crypto millionaire, how would you capture that value in such a scenario? Second, a large portion of the crypto world's liquidity would dry up, and anyone who says that's bullish is definitely coping. Third, there would be an industry exodus as people who want to stay in the space would move to friendlier jurisdictions like Singapore, Hong Kong, or Dubai. The industry landscape would probably look more like 2015, back when Tether was the dominant stablecoin and crypto companies relied on shadow banks just to operate. So my takeaway is, if Operation Chokepoint 2.0 is real, and if it were to succeed, then that would be game over for crypto, at least in the US. Now, before you go dump all your coins, just know that not everybody agrees with this theory. There is a case to be made that it's not as bad as it seems. And when I was looking for arguments to support that case, I found a really convincing one not to sell. In just a minute, I'll share that reason with you. But first, I want to remind you to take your online security way more seriously. I've seen so many people get hacked lately, it's crazy. Like, you honestly should be using a bunch of different security tools and increasing your OPSEC as much as possible. And one tool that you should check out is Guardio, who is our affiliate partner, by the way. Their Chrome extension secures your browser, so it's like the first line of defense for your online activity. They scan for malicious browser extensions, they block phishing sites, and have a bunch of other useful features. So if you want to try them out, use my link below for a free trial, plus 50% off your first month. Anyways, back to Operation Chokepoint 2.0 and why some say it's not as bad as it seems. So when Ryan Selkis, the CEO of Masari, first heard about Paxos and Kraken getting sued, he was enraged. He was like, what in the world? Those are two of the most legit and conservative companies in our entire industry. So he vowed to do whatever it takes to end Gary Gensler's career. But over the next few days, he made some calls to policymakers, or those in the know, and he ended up with a much more tempered tone. He said that those enforcement actions were actually much more nuanced and facts-based than the Oprah-style notices to everyone approach that he thought was happening. Also, Jake Chervinsky, a well-known lawyer in the space, pointed out that regulators were only telling banks to not hold crypto or do crypto activities themselves, but that they didn't tell banks to prevent crypto companies from getting dollar accounts. So that's a big difference. So point is, the truth is often gray, and not everyone agrees that this choke point theory is real or that it's as bad as Twitter says it is. But even though there may be some silver lining, doesn't mean we could just sit back and relax. Because if all we do is fire off angry tweets at Gary Gensler, then our industry is screwed. So instead, here are 3 things we can do to help out. 1, we can be more active with commenting on SEC proposals, because that has shown to help in the past. 2, we can educate our representatives in Congress on what's going on, because they're the ones who are supposed to hold the federal agencies in check. And 3, we can litigate and sue various agencies if they break the rules or overstep their mandate. Those were all recommendations by Jake Chervinsky, by the way. But I have some more ideas of how we can help. First, we can donate to policy groups like Coin Center so they can hire better lobbyists. Because, like it or not, that's how Washington works. Second, we can push our industry leaders to go to DC more and rebuild the trust that SBF lost. And third, we can just stay politically active and support the crypto-friendly politicians out there. That last point is actually super important because it's not as simple as just voting for one particular party. While it looks like the Biden administration doesn't like crypto, you gotta remember, Trump didn't like crypto either. Also, many people consider Elizabeth Warren anti-crypto, but look at who she's building a coalition with. It's the conservative Republicans backed by the banking lobby. So yeah, there's always nuance, and we have to keep crypto bipartisan to be the most effective. Now finally, that single most compelling reason not to sell came from a tweet I discovered when I was reading about all this choke point stuff. So this guy wrote that in mid-2021, when all the China FUD was going on and the Chinese government pretty much banned crypto completely, he decided to short the markets. But that turned out to be the Pico bottom because the market simply did not care about bad news anymore. So the market shrugged it all off as the weak hands and forced sellers were already gone. And what we should be asking now is, are we in a similar situation? Some people think we are, and if they are right, that means all this regulation FUD won't stop the markets from going up. Anyways, that's just some food for thought for you, but what do you think about this choke point theory? If you think it's real, are you gonna sell or perhaps move to a friendlier jurisdiction? After all, not all countries are hostile towards crypto.
For how we can get the regulation right to support the innovation in cryptocurrency, not just Bitcoin, distributed ledger technology, the blockchain that underlies it, so that we can reap the benefit.
I mean, dang, why can't we have that over here? Anyways, don't forget to try out Guardio to secure your investments, link below.